Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I hope everybody has been having a good week so far. I hope everybody was good while I was gone. I missed you. Unfortunately, I was under the weather, so I couldn't be here, but we are back. You'll probably hear me sniff or cough a little bit because I'm still not 100%, but I missed everybody. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. So, and shout out to the replay crew if you guys are tuning in after the live. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate everybody that is able to be here with us. And also a big shout out to the mods, especially Lindy, for always coming in and doing the timestamps afterwards. I appreciate that so much. So yes, my hair is a lot darker than I usually do it. So I wanted a little change for the fall and winter. So, hey Teddy, hi Ashley, hi Ethereal Goddess, hi Mimi, hi Can, hi Hannah, hi Riss, let me see, hi Lindsay, trying to make sure I said hi to everybody. So, y'all, tell me why I got restricted from commenting on Instagram because I commented on Mob's World's post when Carlos is complaining about people again, what's new, and threatening to drop receipts on people if they keep dragging her, which we all know that the only person that said anything about her was that leaked documentary clip of Kanye saying that she was an industry plant to replace Nicki Minaj. And I just said, I don't think Kanye's scared. And should you try to do that to him, don't come crying when you get a Kanye response out of him. And now I can't comment on Instagram until the 10th. I was like, really, Carlos? Just for that, because I know it was fucking you, because you sit on Mob's World's page and look at what people are saying about you. We gonna drag your ass from kingdom till kingdom come every damn time that we get on live now. How about that? And as soon as I can comment again, I'm gonna go straight up on your page and drag your ass too. And I hope to God that Kanye responds in his most Kanye way. And makes it even better than anything that he's ever said to Chris Jong-un, his mother-in-law, or to Scum, his ex-wife, or Haley Nosejob Bieber, as he called her. I hope Kanye goes in on your ass. Hey, Juicy Fruit. So, hey Donna, hey Ronette, I mean, fuck her. Harry Mary Jane Morris, she is so insecure. I was like, girl, I've said way worse about you. Like, that was me being going light because I was just in the middle of getting ready to jump on the live when I made that damn comment. So, y'all calling her Gloria Estefan. Gloria Estefan is actually talented though. Like, don't do Gloria Estefan like that. Just let's start calling her Fajita. That's what I'm gonna start calling her. Freaking asshole. And I'm Hispanic too, so don't nobody try to say nothing to me. That's why I can't stand her even more. We have way too much shit in common. She's a Libra, I'm a Libra. We're both Hispanic. Like, stop having things in common with me, Carlos. So, Patricia, we don't take requests on YouTube. We only do at the appropriate tier on patreon.com/psychicbellabove. And I literally just covered Taylor and Travis Kelce in I think the last live that I did. It was one of the last 2 ones that we just did. And that's a reminder, I don't take requests on YouTube, but you can join us at the appropriate tier on Patreon if you want to request celebrity readings. And also, we have lots of other content over there and all kinds of exclusives. I don't post my stuff on Patreon and then release it on YouTube either. It's completely separate content. That's where we talk about conspiracy theories, the Illuminati, history, religion, all kinds of stuff over there. And it is a spiritual community. So if you want to join us, patreon.com/psychicbellabove. And it is also at the pinned comment at the top. And also, because my birthday is next Friday on the 13th, I do special, I always do special like discounted appointments and different types of like readings and things over on Patreon anyways than I offer on my website or publicly. And I'm doing specials each day over there until my birthday to celebrate. But you can also use code BELLA, all in caps, at checkout on psychicbellabove.com and get 45% off until the 15th of the month as well. So you had your first tamale. I bought it at Pollo Tropical. I hated it. Oh my God, I was so disappointed. No, you just didn't have a good tamale. I love tamales. I literally just had tamales last week for dinner, but you have to get good ones. I don't know what Pollo Tropical is. I've never heard of that, but if you go to the right places, like honestly, if you don't have like a tamale lady anywhere near you, probably your best bet is to go to like a Mexican grocery store. And oftentimes they have like tamales that they like make and sell in-house, and those are usually pretty good too. And some taco trucks also carry them. I know, I was actually so excited. I mean, you guys, first of all, the number 13, just like everything that's associated with witches, like black cats and doing spell work or anything, has been so demonized. There is nothing wrong with the date of October 13th. It's actually the 13th is one of the highest spiritual numbers and one of the highest vibrational numbers. And that's why the people that wanted to program and brainwash everybody made it seem like something was wrong with it. So that's actually a good day to be doing some manifesting. Yep, 13 moon cycles in a year. So, I love tamales, Ashley. Tamales cannot be had at a Pollo Tropical. What is Pollo Tropical? Is that like El Pollo Loco? Well, that's what I love about tamales too, because depending on like which Latin or Hispanic country makes them, like they have different types of filling. Ugh, they're so good. I've never had like any type of, I mean, you know, I've had tamales that were made bad, but I've never had, you know, tamales from different regions that I haven't absolutely loved. Pupusas are bomb too. If you guys have never had El Salvadorian food, it's so good. And it's becoming more of a popular thing out there. So I hope if you have a chance to try it, you get to. It's the day after Mimi is the new moon in Libra and then the solar eclipse. And just a reminder, guys, solar eclipses are not a bad thing either. Because people get all, an eclipse, that means something bad. It's about bringing swift changes into your life, but like good swift changes. So you can make eclipse water too. Just make sure that if you do make you want to make waters those days, do separate ones for the solar eclipse, which means the sun, which means during the day you want to put water out for that. And then in the evening, put out a separate batch of water for the moon. And then you can use them as either offerings, you can add them to spiritual baths, you can use them to clean your floors, your doors, your altars. You can get creative with them. And listen, guys, too, whether you are practicing hoodoo, Wicca, Palo Mayombe, like whatever, after you kind of learn the basics of stuff anyways, any good teacher is going to tell you that they want you to tap into your own intuition and either tweak things or, create your own rituals and spells that you feel intuitively drawn to do. So playing around with how you want to utilize like moon waters is a good way to kind of get a start in that and not really, very low risk. And remember too that different things work for different people. I mean, the same way that it's like you could have a headache and I can have a headache, and for you just need to like have a cup of coffee and lay down, whereas for me, I have to take like a prescription to make it go away. Because we have different body chemistry. There's stuff that connects energetically to all of us differently. So like some people may feel like meditation is a really great way for them to ground themselves and clear their energy. Whereas other people are like, I don't really feel like it does that for me, but I get other benefits from it. But going outside and putting my feet on the ground is what works for me. So try different things out and see what really resonates with you. Pollo Tropical closed all of its restaurants in Georgia. It's like a Florida-based chain restaurant. Oh, okay. I never heard of it, but I'm in California, so. Oh, I love that, Alexandra. And trees are, nature's altars. So you can go out and just place your hands on a tree. If you have to give an offering as part of any ritual that you are doing for yourself, and maybe like you can't have a full-blown altar up, you can go and pour out, whether it's wine or water or juice, you can pour it out at the base of a tree instead. And that's the same thing as having it, in a cup on your altar. Because remember, guys, too, whether it's kitchen magic, hoodoo, like Italian folk magic, everybody's kind of got their own stuff, whatever, depending on what culture and ethnicity you are from, which is why you don't ever spiritually appropriate. Like, you're not going to see my ass trying to do hoodoo when I got Italian folk magic that I can be doing instead. But none of that originated because people had a bazillion spiritual tools laying around and all the money and the resources in the world to, be doing stuff. So don't feel like I have to have this perfect antiqued mahogany carved table to use as my altar, or I can't do anything. If all you can manage to do is have a TV tray, as long as it ain't gonna fall over and it's sturdy, like, use that. Because I know, like, my ancestors that were doing magic didn't have every single thing in the world available to them. And I mean, that's why it's called alchemy, because alchemy is the science of creating something out of other things, whether that's your energy and intentions, or you light a candle, or you go outside and gather a bunch of herbs and berries and do something with them. That's why cooking is such a magical practice, because it is also the practice of alchemy. So any single thing that you make, you can turn that into a magical experience. Like, I be sitting there stirring my sauce, talking to my ancestors. When I'm pouring in, you know, my oregano, I'm sitting there like banishing any negative energy that's around me and putting protection over my home. If I'm putting olive oil in something, you know, I'm sitting there saying, oh, this is anointed oil, because olive oil is the oldest oil that's ever existed on earth, and that's why it's so favored for spell work and is the basis to create other oils for, you know, dressing candles and different purposes like that. You know, you can really charge up your olive oil to be really anything and have the energy of that. So, you know, you want to bring something in, you're turning clockwise. You want to remove something, counterclockwise. So in the morning, even when I'm pouring my milk into my coffee, I'm sitting there turning it clockwise, putting the intentions in my coffee of what kind of a day I want to have. I want to be super productive. I want to, you know, touch a bunch of people's lives and give them the best readings that they've ever had, and whatever else it is that I want to call in, so that that coffee is full of that intention. And when I am consuming it, I'm filling myself up with that energy. So, you know, whether we realize it or not, we're practicing magic all day anyways. So just put a positive spin on it and make it work for you. And that's the other thing too. You can do stuff like that, and then you don't have to, you know, feel like, well, I don't know how to do a whole spell or this or that. Do your coffee in the morning. Add it in when you're cooking dinner. Praying always works too. It is just as powerful as anything else that you can do. So, and you don't have to get on your hands and knees and face a certain direction and say 100 novenas a million times, you know, and all these other things. I have conversations with God all day long in my head, like we are. So, and also, here's a little teaser of something that you would find in my Patreon anyways, because I also am always like breaking down the origins of stuff. When we say amen, when we are praying, that actually came from Amun, which is the Kemetic word for the creator, which is why they called the sun Amun Ra, the son of the creator, which is also why I always say Tori has a very anointed name, because his real name is Daystar, and Daystar is literally the sun. So in like Hermetic stuff, like basically they're saying that he's the son of God, which is true, because we're all the sons of, you know, God anyways, but it's a very deep meaning to that. Oh, I be talking to God like about everything, every single thing. And don't feel like you're selfish for what you ask. I will be going to Walgreens to get pads, and I will literally ask God to make sure that they're on sale and that they have the brand that I want. Like, and people would be like, really, Bella, that's like such a like materialistic kind of stupid selfish thing to ask. No, it's not. Nothing is too big or too little to give to God. And guess what? It works every time. They always have my pads, and there's always a coupon. So there's a wives' tale that my family believe in. It's that you make it chili when we are mad to make it extra spicy. Oh my God, that's so funny. Italians say that you can't let a woman who's on her menstrual cycle make like spaghetti sauce because they say that it's gonna come out like not good. I don't know where the hell that they got that from, but I'm gonna have to ask my aunties if they know where that even like originates from. But I just always thought that that was interesting. Listen, it's just a fact of life, Can. We all need them. The real crime is that we have to pay for them. So if we got to do all of that, then yes, I'm going to pray that there's a damn coupon, okay? So anyways, guys, also just on one more topic before we get into the readings today. And y'all can think I am batshit crazy for this. I don't care. Y'all can call me a conspiracy theorist. Guess what? All the conspiracy theorist just means that you're right long before the rest of the world catches up or the truth comes out at this point, because it seems like all the damn conspiracy theories have been proven true at this point. So with that said, tomorrow there's supposed to be a test of the emergency broadcast system at 2:20 p.m. Eastern. I have to be careful, you know, if you really want all of the details, it's in Patreon, because I have to be real careful about things that I say over here, but just turn your phone off. Turn your phone off for 10 minutes before that happens and leave it off for 10 minutes afterwards. So basically, if you're on the West Coast at 11 a.m., turn that phone off and do not turn it back on until 11:30 a.m. If you are on the East Coast, turn it off from 2 until 2:30 p.m. Y'all in the middle and in other time zones, you can figure out what that's going to be for you, because I don't know, and then I'd be here all day naming off every time zone anyways. Turn off the iPads, anything that's gonna have a chance to broadcast that, because there's nothing good attached to that. And that's about as much as I can say without getting in trouble. Again, it doesn't matter if it's not... If y'all think I'm crazy or if it's not real or whatever, it's not going to kill anybody to get offline for half an hour and live in the real world. Take it as an opportunity to go outside and get some fresh air. Go for a walk, meditate, focus on the real world in front of you for a minute. Online will still be there later. So just to, you know, be careful. So hang on one second. Let me see what you guys are talking about in the chat. Oh yeah, I mean that's kind of like I think that goes like across like so many cultures, because Italians say that too. Like, you know, that people put periods in the spaghetti sauce to try to, like, you know, bind a man to them. And I know that other I've heard that in, like, you know, Black Southern households, hoodoo everywhere. So oh my God, Alexandra, you actually did that? Yeah, that's crazy, you guys. Don't be playing around with love spells, please God, you guys. It's not worth it. That's why Chloe can't get over Trash Can and just leave his ass alone, because I've said this a million times before. First of all, you're just inviting bad karma in for yourself because you're trying to interfere with somebody else's free will. You're not only binding that person to you, but you're binding yourself to that person. So that's why a lot of times, like, people realize, oh, the reason why this guy was acting this way was because he wasn't for me and I don't like him. But then they can't leave him alone because they made themselves obsessed with him by binding their energy to him. So, yes, Dee, I did darken my hair. Thank you. Let me see. Oh, thank you, Fiona. Both my tank top underneath and my sweater are from Target, but they're both, I think I've had this cardigan probably for like 5 years. So, you know what, Juicy Fruit? They said something when I was like signing on about new ad controls, but then it was like I had already hit go live. And so I just had to hit dismiss because I'm like, I can't sit here and be fooling around with trying, especially because it popped up on my phone and I'm like trying to read the little tiny thing and understand what the heck it even said anyways. So I don't know what they were saying about it. Like, I'll have to go research it after this, but I'm sorry, like, I didn't do that. It's YouTube. And that's the thing too, guys, regardless of even if your channel is or isn't monetized, YouTube will run its own ads sometimes on stuff because there's a lot of people that aren't monetized that still have ads that run on their channels, and that's just YouTube doing it. Just like some one time somebody complained and said that like I need to turn off the ads because they're too loud. I'm like, I don't have any control over how loud ads are, and I don't have any control over what ads that they do run, but at the same time, like, let's be dead ass honest. I'm taking time away from like doing other things that make me money to be on YouTube, so I'm gonna monetize my content. Because otherwise, I'm really just losing a bunch of money and it makes absolutely no sense for me to be on here in the first place. So, you know, and it's still work to come on here and do this. I'm not just freaking doing cartwheels for the hell of it. Oh, thank you, Fiona. I had my hair like this dark for quite a while, actually, but then it accidentally turned black one time, and so I had to get all of the black stripped out of my hair in order to like do it again, you know, recolor it, because my natural hair color is lighter and my hair grows pretty fast. And so then after that, like, I was scared for that to happen again, so I kind of just stuck to like lighter colors for quite a while. And this time I was just like, you know what, I miss having really dark hair. I'm gonna do that for the fall at least. Exactly, Mimi. I mean, for God's sakes, like, even like I was watching I forget what it was. I think The Office on Peacock the other day, and then my son wanted to watch some other show that was on there. And just even going back and forth between different shows on the same app, sometimes you have to turn the volume way up, and then sometimes you're like, oh shit, let me turn the volume way down because it comes in louder or quieter. And it's like you just adjust your volume, then it's not that big of a freaking deal. But I blocked her because I was like, you're not going to come on here and tell me to demonetize my stuff because you don't want to watch ads. Like, that was the real thing. I don't want to watch ads. Well, then that's what YouTube Premium is for, boo. I don't like watching ads either, so I pay for premium. Oh, really, San? I know. A bunch of people told me that they got unsubscribed again. So that one, I don't think it's anything personal against me. It seems to just happen to lots of creators all the time. So, because I've seen, you know, Dustin Daly, that seems to happen to him a lot. And then I've seen, you know, pretty much every single person that I watch at one point or another has had to say, make sure your notifications are on, guys, and make sure you're subscribed to me, because it keeps getting, you know, people keep getting unsubscribed or they're not getting notifications. And I hardly ever get notifications for any of the people that I follow. And I went and turned on notifications for a bunch of them on purpose to see, like, if it wasn't working. I got one notification that Dario was going live, and that was it. And I haven't gotten any more since then. So, and I know he's been live at least 6 times since I turned on the notifications for that. But, alrighty, guys, let's get into our topics today. So, let's start with Tamar and this junior guy. Now, I will say this. I have a very big soft spot in my heart for Tamar, because I know people that know her in real life and people that worked on the Tamar and Vince show that they had together, and they all have had not only like the nicest things to say about her, not very nice things to say about Vince, but very nice things to say about Tamar. But on top of it, that she is just, you know, has such a kind heart. Like, one of them was a producer on the show, and they had just started, and they said that their mom was dealing with, here's another word that we can't say on YouTube anymore, cancer. And they were talking to another producer about it. Like, they didn't even say anything to Tamar because they were stressing out because their mom was in another state and they were going to have to go back and like take her to go get surgery and everything. And they had just started that job too. And so they didn't want to risk like losing the job or anything. And so because of that, like, Tamar found out. She bought that lady a plane ticket, made sure that she still got paid. And mind you, this is an outside production company. Like, Tamar and Vince did not employ these people personally, just like the Real Housewives, you know. They hire like Evolution, but like Bethany Frankel wasn't paying the producers herself. And so, anyways, she found out too that that person's mom was the huge Tamar fan, and so she would call the person's mom every single time that she had a chemo or radiation appointment, and would FaceTime her and pray with her and stay on the phone with her until she was finished. Sent her flowers, sent her food, made sure that that producer could leave at any time if she needed to be with her mom. So, and since then, because this was years ago, and the last time I had talked to this person was probably before the pandemic, even up to that point, because I think she said at that point it had been like 8 years, 9 years, Tamar still called her mom and sent her flowers on her birthday and Mother's Day every single year. So, and the only reason why anybody knows this story is because she told it to me and I've told it to people. Like, you've never seen Tamar running around bragging like that, but like, she does that. Like, she really takes care of the people that are around her. She's a Pisces, right? And, you know, but I understand that a lot of times I think like her lashing out, as people call it, is actually really her expressing like deep hurt. And I really think that Tamar is somebody that really truly needs some real true therapy and healing. But I always wish the best for her, because like I said, I've heard so many stories like that over the years about her from people who did know her in real life, and that's just who she is as a person. She's always trying to take care of everybody else. And I saw somebody else saying that she was basically doing the same thing for this guy, Junior, Jeremy, whatever the hell his name is, JR. And, you know, people are saying that he used her. So, Lonnie did her so damn dirty. Lonnie completely had something to do with that. And she did Tamar so damn dirty. And y'all are right. That show sucked after she left. I never watched it again. And listen, I saw bully Jeannie. She was the only person that checked Jeannie. Because if you go back and watch old clips of the show, Jeannie was always being extremely inappropriate with things that she would say, especially about Black people. And Tamar would be like, bitch, shut up. Like, in a nicer way, of course. But it's like, really? And that's how, I don't know how Amanda Seales, of all people, was able to sit there at the same table as Jeannie saying all of her ignorant ass shit. There was a lot of stuff too that, like, if you look at older clips that pop up of the show when Tamar was on there, there was a lot of things that, like, Jeannie would start saying certain things that were very out of touch and ignorant, and you would just see Tamar's face, like, and you could tell she was like, okay, like, how am I gonna deal with this and not get in trouble at the same time? Because you could tell, like, if they weren't on camera, she probably would have cussed her ass out, but she had to find a way to, like, make it a little bit, you know, nicer for TV. But it's like, oh my God. And the other ladies just sat there and let her say that kind of shit. And I'm just like, why didn't any of you check her and say that's not appropriate, or talk to her backstage and be like, Jeannie, maybe stop talking about other cultures, since you obviously have no idea what the hell you're saying and you're always saying the wrong thing. Hey, Sana. Dude, I would have slapped Jeannie if I was there. Like, come on. That was just, I cannot believe that anybody would have the nerve to say that whole dark meat on the side comment and think that that was okay to say something like that. But, you know, it is funny because I saw somebody make a comment, which I completely agree with, that they're like, Jeezy has always portrayed himself to be like a very, like, calm, collected, like, intellectual, very studied person who's all about, like, being a strong, masculine Black man that's in charge and a boss. And they were like, how the hell would he end up with somebody like Jeannie? You know, and they were like, with all of her ignorance. And they said it made him really, like, reevaluate, like, you know, if he really is anything like the person that he tries to portray himself to be. And I was like, yeah. Oh, enjoy your dinner. And I'm glad that you were able to make it, Kay. But yeah, it's just, when you think about it that way, it's like, yeah, how the heck did Jeezy end up being with her? And then I saw somebody else saying these are just two people that were really attracted to each other, but when it came down to it, you know, it was like beyond that, you had absolutely nothing in common. So you want dinner, but it's 10:48. It's 11:40 here, and I was like, actually, dinner does sound good. They both used each other. He got a new clean slate. She got a baby and income for 18 years. Very true. Very true. So, oh boy. Okay. Tamar, you might be hurt and you might be sad and you might be shocked. Please do not take this man back, because he don't stay faithful to no damn buddy, and he wasn't faithful to Tamar. And he ain't gonna be ever faithful to anybody going forwards. I mean, doesn't he have like a shit ton of ex-wives and kids? Because I remember when she first popped up with him, and then everybody was all excited, and then they were like, oh, but he's got hella like baby mamas or something. And then I remember like he tried to come out and be like, but they all get along and there's no drama. 4 kids by 4 different women. Yeah. But let that be a woman that had 4 kids by 4 men, and the world would stop and nobody would ever give her credit for being a decent human being, right? He's a lawyer, Mimi. He tries to say that he's like an entertainment type lawyer and represents celebrities, but other people said that up until recently he was more of like one of those ambulance chaser type lawyers. So no, he's a catfish, because he's one of those people that if he has a hat on, he looks kind of cute, but then when you see him without the hat, he's not that cute. And it's like, dude, get a different haircut, please. You know what he reminds me of? A great value knockoff Paul Wall. Because listen, back in the day, Paul Wall was not cute to nobody. We just thought he was like some like crazy ass white boy that could rap. But he looked good as he got older. Like, he's cute now, but his hair looks like he's from the early 1900s. Yeah, the reason why that's so funny to me is I was like, he and Jonathan Majors could totally go travel back in time with JR's haircut and Jonathan Majors' outfits. I seen somebody that said that Jonathan Majors always looks like he's about to sell peanuts at a baseball game in 1922. And now every time I see him, I always wonder if he's got a bag of peanuts to sell. So, imagine they start some business together. That would be hilarious. Then call it old timey something or other. Peanuts, hot dogs. Did they even sell hot dogs at baseball games back then, though? What did they used to sell? Maybe he could give people some sarsaparilla. So, anyways, but yeah, this man is like a cheater, pumpkin eater, because how in the hell does somebody pull cards on you and you get all 3 cheating cards back all laid out together in the underlying energy? This is why I need Tamar to heal. because she lets these men come in and love bomb her. Then once they're like, oh, I got Tamar right where I want her, then comes the narcissistic abuse, the gaslighting, the playing on the insecurities, it's like she just keeps going from narcissist to narcissist. And because she's in this cycle, she keeps attracting the same type of woman for them, hoping to have a different outcome this time than with the previous guy. And then they either discard her, or if she does try to walk away from them, they still hang on for dear life, like that David guy, which he was so unattractive. I was like, Tamar, really? You are so beautiful. What? And he had just the worst personality on top of it. But, you know, I don't know if y'all saw that he tried to say some shit about how this guy JR, that he didn't want to be on TV and all this crap. It just sounded like a load of crap, just like he was trying to say that he was trying to get back to himself and his positivity. So it's like you tried to make it seem like Tamar is, you know, hell on wheels and you just couldn't take it anymore. But it was fake positivity throughout the damn video that I watched. It was on, I believe, either Layla Lynn's channel or Impressive that I watched it on. I can't remember which one, because I know I was watching a bunch of videos from the both of them when I was getting ready yesterday morning. But she needs to really take a step out of this cycle and heal, because this guy has just been lying through his teeth to her about everything, about, you know, whether or not he wanted to be famous. It's like every damn thing that he could lie to her about, he could. And he's fake, phony, two-faced, trying to put on this like mask for the world to cover up who he really is. And Spirit saying he definitely saw Tamar as an easy mark, because he's trying to establish himself as, you know, this celebrity entertainment person. And so what easier way? Date a celebrity, and then date the celebrity that's Tamar, who's gonna go around and pay for billboards for you, promote your shit more than her own. Because nobody knew who the hell this man was until he popped up on Tamar's arm. Let's be that ass serious. He always had ulterior motives with her. He's not done with her, though. That's the sad thing. This is the part of the cycle of narcissistic abuse where they constantly discard you and then come back and get you again. And they take you back in again for a little bit and make you feel like, oh, okay, like everything's fine again. And I just have to like never do XYZ thing that they were upset with me about. And then it forces the victim to try even harder to hold on to this person. And the whole time, the only person who's benefiting from it is the narc. So they're just in that phase of the cycle, unfortunately, because it really is cycles. Like this Wheel of Fortune card is just about the cycle, and her being caught up in this cycle constantly. And she needs to remove herself and work on healing so that by the time that she's out of this cycle with him, she doesn't go run and end up in another cycle with another person just like him. So Miss Evelyn did a number on those girls anyways, and then Vince took advantage and came in and did a number on Tamar. And I know before she was with him, she was in some abusive relationships. And it just breaks my heart, because you can tell that underneath all of it, there's a broken little girl that just wants to be loved. That's all she wants. And when you see, like I said earlier, when you see her, you know, flipping out or whatever, that's just the hurt. It's not really because she's angry. It's the hurt that comes out of her. I just want to give Tamar a big ol' hug and sit there and pour into her and tell her how good she really truly is and that she doesn't need anybody else, and just try to uplift her. Like, she needs some real true girlfriends who are gonna cheer her up and cheer her on and pour into her and remind her of who she is and love on her. Oh my God, Alexandra, right? I know. I've heard from a lot of people too that it's like, by the time that Tamar came along, all of the older sisters were basically like, you know, trying to position themselves to be singers, and their daddy was always off running around doing God knows what with God knows what woman, while Miss Evelyn was at home, you know, miserable about it, and that she was tired of raising babies by the time that Tamar came along. So Tamar kind of was like the discarded leftover kid that just got the scraps of attention and didn't get a whole lot of support and love from the family, and that it was like then she was just sort of expected to go be a singer too. And then she felt like she always had to like live up to, you know, I have to be the best singer in the world to like earn my mom and dad's love and attention. So is YouTube buffering? I'm sorry, guys. I have nothing to do with that. Hey, Stephanie. I know, I love Tamar. But this is why it's so important, you guys, that we heal. Because when we're not actively working on our healing, we filter everything through the lens of trauma. And either you then become somebody that has like an avoidant personality type and you run away from everything before it can get too serious because you don't want to risk being abandoned or hurt, or you have an anxious attachment style and you end up, you know, overly compensating and trying to hold on to people who aren't good for you. And you subconsciously, whether you realize it or not, attract people and look out for people that do have similar traits, or the situation has similar traits to what hurt you. So, you know, kids that have like abandonment issues, they might end up dating men with commitment issues because you think on a subconscious traumatized level that if I can get this person to settle down and choose me, then I am worth it and somebody did pick me, and it's not my fault that my dad left and never came back, you know. So it's really, really, really important that we really, if you want to have a good, healthy, stable relationship, that you work on healing those parts of yourself so that you don't unconsciously choose the wrong people and attract people who are out there looking for their next victim and know, oh, you're somebody that I can go screw up some more. So yeah, I mean, it is crazy when you become self-aware how much you look back and understand, like, oh, that's why I ended up with that person. Crap. So this man is just horrible. Tamar has definitely lost money behind him, between money that she spent on him, Spirit saying gigs that she, you know, didn't take because she didn't want to be away from him. Because it was like, well, if I'm going to marry this person, you know, we have to prioritize the relationship and family. So I'm not going to go take that overseas, you know, tour or job or this show that I have to go film in another state for a while or anything that was going to take her away from him for too long, especially if he couldn't come with her. But also, he's not as financially secure as he tries to portray himself to be either. Because there's a real reason why, you know, Tamar was paying for as much as she was, because he don't have it like that the way that he tries to make himself out to be. So he's coming back to her, but again, it's so I can use you, it's so I can try to keep my name out there. It's part of our narcissistic abuse cycle that, you know, until Tamar decides for herself that she's really done, it's gonna continue. And the sad thing is, I feel like she's gonna give him another chance. Predators look for vulnerabilities in their prey. Anything they consider a weakness, they will exploit. Unfortunately, Tamar is attracted to, drawn to predators. I think that Tamar is unconsciously playing out her parents' dynamic. She chooses men that, you know, are distant and narcissistic and everything is all about them, like her dad and his affairs. And, you know, her mom was always just, even though it would tear her up inside and then she'd take it out on the kids, was, you know, stick by your man and blame the other woman for the problems and do better so that you can keep him mentality. And, you know, unfortunately, I feel like Tamar's kind of, you know, stuck in that, trying to rewrite history and what her parents did. See, Stephanie? I would love to see Tamar in concert. She has a voice on her. You know who I like? They could do something so cute together. Even if it was just a performance and she like came out and sang like last time I saw you or something with her. But I don't know why. I think Nikki and Tamar would like be such an unexpected but like good mix. Especially if Nikki wanted to do another gospel song. Because gospel is really where Tamar shines, because she can really blow, and gospel lends itself to those runs and, you know, the real like being able to show off your full vocal capabilities. So, well, I live like 7 hours or 8 hours from LA, so if she wants to come to the Bay Area, then I can see her. See? That's what I'm saying. I love listening to Tamar's gospel music. Her and Whitney Houston and Tasha Cobb. Oh my God. But I love Kelly Price too. Kelly Price has been my girl. I love her voice. That song, I loved Faith Evans growing up too. So when Kelly Price and Faith Evans and Whitney Houston all got on that song together, it was like my teenage dream come true. I'm not kidding. I cried so hard when I listened to it the first time. So it was like, oh my God, all my favorite people are on one song together. So, and it's still like one of the best songs ever too. I love that song. So, anyways, guys, let's move on to Jodie Turner-Smith and Joshua Jackson. So, Pacey, see, this is why, you know, as much as I don't like Beyonce for various reasons, more people need to take a page out of her damn book, because Pacey has shattered everybody's teenage dreams about him with the random ass horrendous shit that he has been saying over the past few years. And like, please never do interviews ever again. Most of them being about this relationship. She likes to watch his love scenes. To cheating's not a big deal, and allegedly he cheated on her when she was pregnant and she proposed to him. And this is the other crazy thing, is he had said in some interview that I saw of his like a while back that not only does he think cheating's no big deal and that monogamy isn't really all that, but and that he cheated in every relationship he's ever been in. But he also said that until he got with her, like, he didn't really see the importance in getting married or having kids. Well, when he was with that German lady that's with the guy from the zombie show now, what's her name? Diane something. They were engaged, and he made a big old deal about it and was leaking all kinds of stories to the press when they broke up, because immediately when she got with the zombie show guy, they had kids together. And he was crying and acting like, oh my God, like I was waiting, we were engaged and we didn't get married because we were waiting on her. And she kept saying she didn't want to get married, and I wanted to have kids, and she kept saying she didn't want them. So I'm like, really, dude, which one is it? Because I don't like when guys be doing all that shit. Like, he just seems like a piece of crap, and I'm really disappointed in him. Because since I was like 14 years old and Dawson's Creek came on, I thought he seemed like a good person for a while. I didn't really pay all that much attention to him as an adult, but he's very disappointing. But also, she kind of seemed like she was a desperate ass pick-me behind him too. Like, she proposed to him multiple times. It wasn't just once. Like, girl, it was bad enough that you did that once. Why did you propose multiple times? She's so pretty. It was like, well, you could get somebody else. Why did you have to be stuck on him? He wasn't asking you to marry him, then move the hell on. Somebody else will. But my God, it was just, they had such a weird dynamic that I'm not at all shocked that they're getting a divorce. But I want to see what Spirit has to say as to why. Listen about this whole minisphere content, okay? Do y'all notice a common theme amongst this, regardless of if it's a black man, a white man, a bunch of Mexican guys sitting around? All these men want to sit up on the internet and tell women how they need to, like, supposedly look and act and do this and do that if they want to get a man. These are all single men. Do you think if a bunch of single women sat up on a podcast telling men how to get themselves a high-value woman, everybody, man and woman that came across that content would be like, bitch, you're single, your opinions and thoughts are invalid, nobody's gonna take you seriously, where's your husband? So why the hell were we listening to Kevin Samuels or Dr. Umar? Where's their wives? Where's their high-value woman? Same thing for the funky, fab, fresh boys. Where the fuck is your girlfriends at? Your high-value women that have never slept with anybody before you and just only cook and clean all day, but they also somehow pay for everything. Like, really? I can't stand that shit. It's just so annoying. It's like, show me your wife or your girlfriend, and then maybe I'll take something you have to say seriously. You're single because nobody wants your ass either. Dead ass honest, face it. And you're bitter about it, so that's why you want to sit up on the internet and bash women and blame them for everything now. Exactly, Hannah. And this is the thing. I would never sit up and fix my lips to tell a man how to be a man because I am a woman and I don't know how to be a man. I only know how to be a woman. So isn't it pretty sassy and feminine of all of them too to be sitting there telling women how to act? I'm sorry. They must all have vaginas and bleed every month like the rest of us if they fucking know what it's like to be a woman, because they certainly seem like they're experts on it, right? Maybe we need to ask them what kind of pads they use and if they got any coupons for it. I think Kevin Samuels was a cup girl if I really if we want to take it there. And some of them seem like they like tampons, so yeah, if you're not done being raised, go back to your mama and let her do it. I'm not raising somebody's grown ass son. If I'm gonna raise another boy who's not yet a man, then I'm gonna go get some kid that has no home out of foster care and do it. I'm not doing that for somebody that's able-bodied and can take care of themselves. Ooh, boy. Okay. You know how we just said that Jodie proposed more than once. Which again, let's see what the Funky Fab Fresh Boys have to say about that, because I'm sure that they probably loved the fact that she proposed multiple times to this man. So, you know, let's see how they find a way to blame her for all of this. But child. He must have magical dick, is all I can say, because it's like from the moment that she got with this man, she was determined that she was going to do whatever she had to do to have him and keep him. And it's like, that pregnancy was not no surprise or accident, nor was it planned by anybody in that relationship but her. Girl, why you try to trap Pacey with the baby? Oh my God. So, he tried to leave her a few times before they ended up like getting married. So those little like, I mean, Spirit saying, you know, one of these was we broke up and then you know, we got back in connection with each other because I'm calling you saying I'm pregnant. Then we start fighting and you break up with me again. And then I propose. And now, you know, we kind of rushed to get married before the baby was born. But it's like there was also, you know, other little minor breakups in between them. Because Spirit's saying they had breakups that lasted weeks. They had breakups that lasted a day, a few hours. But it was always him being like, I don't think this is going to work, and trying to find a way out of this situation. So there was an ultimatum that was made before this divorce was filed from her end, and he basically told her that he had absolutely no plans of doing any of the things that she was trying to demand of him. So it was like, then divorce me. If you don't, then I'm gonna file. And it was kind of like, here's my parting gift to you. I let you be the one that files, but you were trying to make this relationship work. I said, no more. I'm completely done. Like, there was never any real true happiness in this. It's like, he felt like, okay, I have a kid with this person. She obviously wants to be with me. Like, it's almost like, and I kind of wanted to, like, prove a point to my ex. And so I tried to make it work, but I just couldn't for, the long run. But, like, they fought a lot. A lot. Men will stick around just to stick around. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying he's an angel by any means. Like, don't get me wrong. But it's like, the man, I feel like he tried, because it's like, a lot of people will do that, male or female. I'm having a kid with you. It's obviously, everybody imagines that their child is going to grow up in a two-parent household. Not many people dream of being a single parent. So you feel that, like, obligation and guilt towards your, future child. Like, I have to give this a chance with that person and not put you through going back and forth between mom and dad all the time and growing up without us both being in the same household. But it's like, he couldn't keep it in his pants. He wasn't super in love with her. She was way more in love with him than he ever was with her. It's like, I grew to have love for you, but I was never in love with you. And it feels like she was always a rebound to him after the previous relationship, because there was some overlap between her relationship and the one with the guy from the zombie show. So it's like, he felt like, oh, you told me you don't want to get married, you don't want to have kids with me, and then I find out that you were already, like, talking to homeboy, and then the second that we are done, you're pregnant with this kid and getting married. So it's like, when your ego is very wounded and you feel real disappointed like that, it's easy to be like, well, this girl's really in love with me. I'm going to date her and show that bitch that left me that I'm worth something, because look at this girl that loves me now. And on top of it, she's studying and she has this movie that everybody's talking about. So we're both getting all this attention and I'm benefiting off of it in so many different ways. But it was never about, like, real true love. And Spirit saying, if Jodie would have seen that and just let him be, they would have broken up within like 3 or 4 months and never would have been all that serious. It's like, she just kept pushing because she really wanted him. And that's why I said, he must have immaculate D, because how do you just, this is some trauma too. Like, today's just, everybody has some unhealed trauma, and this is the consequences of all of that, I guess. I don't know a lot about her life. Like, was her dad not around or something? Is that what this is? Because it's like, how do you date some man for like a couple months and then be like so in love with him that you're willing to go have a baby and propose to him and all this crazy shit, and then put up with a disaster of a marriage for the next 3 years? Hey, no, Porsche. And she definitely tried to play the cool girl role and forgive the cheating, act like she was into watching his love scenes. She tried to do the Tayana and Amon thing of, well, if you really want, another woman, then we can do it together. The whole we'll have threesomes, but don't cheat outside of that. And it has to, I pick the girl. So it obviously didn't work. Bringing other people into your relationship never works out. Everybody always ends up getting divorced or separated because somebody goes outside of the, the swing or the threesome and starts doing things on their own time without including the other person, and it just blows up into a disaster. So just sad. You know what though? Have you guys watched the show that he was in, The Affair? I loved that show. Like, I'm not really like somebody that like watches a bunch of TV. I watched every episode of that show. This reminds me, if you watched it, how his character was to his second wife, the Hispanic lady. I cannot remember what his name was at the moment, but the way that like she was just so nice to him and put up with all this shit and helped him raise his kid and went through all the ups and downs with him, and then he still wanted his ex-wife that cheated on him and left him for somebody else. That's what this reminds me of. It's like he's just living out what his character on that damn show did almost. So if you guys haven't ever watched that show though, highly recommend it. And I'll say this, for the longest time I was like not super into the last season because it was so weird and futuristic, but now, like, what is it, 6 or 7 years later, I'm like, actually, all this stuff that was so futuristic and weird that last season is pretty much what our future is gonna end up being if the World Economic Forum has their way. So it was probably just one of those predictive programming moments, but overall it was a very good show. So no, it's never a good idea to bring other people into your relationship. And I mean, listen, I mean, I think that some gender roles and things can be bent, but I always say this, as much as like Amber Rose can go on all these slut walks and people can say XYZ thing these days, masculine men and alpha males are still always going to have that need within them to, have to pursue and win the woman over. And if you take that away from them, that they feel emasculated and they will look for other people to make them feel masculine again. That's why Safari and Wendy's ex-husband would always go out and cheat, and you would sit there and think like, dude, you literally had like a dream life. You had a woman that went out there and became a multi-millionaire and had these super successful careers, and you really didn't have to do a whole lot. Like, they weren't expecting very much out of you except for you to just be a good partner and, in Wendy's case, a good dad to the child that you guys had together. But you couldn't just do that. You had to go out there and screw around on them. But it's because deep down inside they knew that they didn't feel like they were anything because they were being lazy bums and living off of their partner rather than doing their own damn thing like they should. And so in order to feel like a man again, it was like, oh, I have to go find some other woman who thinks, ooh, look at you. You're Mr. Wendy Williams. How impressive. Oh my God, you get to date Nicki Minaj. That's so cool, Safari. I want to suck your dick. And then the next thing you know, they're cheating, and it fills up their ego for a little bit until they see the next check that comes in. And yeah, they'll still have their hand out for their part to go spend it, but they're still going to run off and cheat anyways, because that check also reminded them that they ain't shit. And again, for everybody that always says that Safari wrote for Nicki. So when Atlantic was looking for their Nicki replacement, and they decided on the industry plant and reciter Fajita, aka Yolanda Saldivar's granddaughter, aka a bazillion faces, Carlos the alien, whatever the hell you want to call her. Why didn't they hire Safari to write for her then? Why did they choose Partisan Fontaine? Because wouldn't you want the person who was so-called responsible for Nicki's success to be a part of her takedown? And y'all know that Safari would have jumped all over that, because that was the same period of time where that girl that was an OnlyFans model or a stripper or whatever the hell she was, remember she threw all his shit out in the street and kicked him out and said that he was living with her and now he was living in the car. And I guess that was when he went to go live with Sean Kingston for 2 years after that. So you're going to tell me that if Safari could actually write, and he was the person that wrote all of Nicki's music, that Atlantic, for whatever reason, said, no, we're going to have Partisan Fontaine instead write this for her. Okay. So he didn't even write those that she was yelling. The only credit that he gets is for his ad-libs that she allowed him to put in the background of songs. He didn't even do her ad-libs. Those were hers. It's just the like stupid shit that he says in the background that he gets a writing credit for. Just like if you sample a song, every single person that contributed to writing the original song gets credited, even if they had nothing to do with the current song. So like everybody that wrote on the Rick James song that the Super Freak that Nicki sampled is gonna be credited on SFG, but Nicki is the only person that wrote her part, obviously, but she still has to give credit. I mean, that's why on some of Beyonce's songs, especially on Renaissance, there's like 153 people credited, because especially on certain songs where she used multiple samples, they had to credit every single person that contributed to the original, regardless of how much you use the sample or not. So that's all. It's just because you're forced to have to credit that person. And at the time, obviously, Nicki was also looking at it like, I'm doing you a favor, because at least that way you're going to get a little bit of money for yourself, and maybe I don't have to keep giving you an allowance, because you'll get a little bit of royalties off of this. So, I mean, he's just like she allowed him to do the robot in the background of her videos. She didn't have to do that. Although I really think it's funny, because the Check It Out video is like the best example of this. Whenever, and the performances, it's like, you can really tell that she was just like, okay, Safari, you can be in the music video, I guess. Because he pops on there in his little t-shirt and jeans, does not match any part of the theme of the video or anybody else's costumes. And then all of the performances where he came out for that, it was the same thing. And it's like, Safari, you couldn't even be bothered to put on jeans and a t-shirt that at least matched what everybody else was wearing so you didn't stick out like a sore thumb. But you know, in his head, he was probably like, everybody's gonna notice me if I wear green and everybody else is in blue or whatever the theme was that day. And it's just like, you look like a moron, Safari. You really do. Well, it's just, I don't know, Safari's such a damn cornball. He is so embarrassing. Y'all want to know some tea on him? Like, one time, this was before he got with Erica Mena. Okay, this was, I don't even think he'd been on Love and Hip Hop yet. Or he was like just about to be, or had only like shown up here and there, like on the New York one, I think. It was when he first started doing cameos. And I didn't even know that he was doing Cameo, nor did I know what Cameo even was. And I reposted something that he had posted that popped up on my, I thought I was following him, but I don't think I ever followed Safari, if I remember correctly. But it was something, and I reposted it, and I credited him because I'm not, you know, an asshole or whatever. He slid in my DMs and started asking me all these questions about, like, what's the difference between a psychic and a tarot reader and a palm reader, and was, like, asking me all this stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, whatever, answering him, like, no big deal. All of it, like, this was going on, like, I'm not kidding, all day long. I'm, like, talking to him back and forth. And I'm like, okay, I guess Safari, like, may not be, like, that bad, or at least he's grown since him and Nikki have broken up. He sends me this link, and he's like, I made something for you. I go over, and I open it. He made me a damn cameo that nobody asked for, saying my damn name wrong, saying he got a palm reading from me, and I told him that he was gonna be a star and that they should get a reading from me. And he wanted me to give him $25 for it. I was just like, you are on crack, motherfucker. Like, I did not ask for this. You couldn't even say my damn name right. I'm not a palm reader. I just stopped responding to him. I didn't say anything else. That was the end of the conversation. So, and I've talked to plenty of celebrities in the DMs, and none of them have ever tried to pull any of that corny ass shit. The most that they've done is like, oh, like, if you're ever in LA, hit me up because I want a reading in person. Like, are you serious? It's such a fucking loser. I'm gonna give you $25 for something I didn't ask for, and then how am I gonna post that? People are gonna be like, that wasn't for you, and like, no, and I'm a barb, you know, and I like the barbs, and I'm not trying to like not be cool with the barbs. Like, just, it was just such a mess. He wasn't trying to make friends, Alexandra. He was looking for customers because he had bills to pay. And he was doing this shit to a bunch of people. I guarantee you I was not the only one. And that's why he was so interested in what I did, so that he could customize his advertisement for me so that I'd want to pay for it. Ew, guys sat on you to talk to you? Ew. Somebody tried to do that to me. You're getting knocked in the back of the damn head. Yeah. Obviously, I didn't give you the damn reading, Safari, because you're not a star. That would have been the damn worst worst advertisement for my business ever anyways. She told Safari that he was going to be a big star and he's not, obviously. He's just such a cornball. I heard from other people, like, throughout the years that he did the same thing to them. Like, he was just going around and finding girls that had small businesses. And the thing on top of that is that Cameo says it's not for you. It's supposed to be a personal message. Like, you can't go pay Teresa Giudice to advertise your bakery. Like, if you want her to do something like that, then you need to contact her management for her, you know, promo prices and stuff. It's just supposed to be for her to, like, wish her cousin a happy birthday or something. So it's like, I should have reported him, honestly, to Cameo for that. But on top of it, I was like, I was also like, dude, you're only charging $25 too. Like, obviously you're not much of a celebrity, Safari. Which, by the way, have y'all seen Teresa Giudice's cameos? They are freaking hilarious. People pay her so that she can send messages to people that they don't like. And it is freaking so funny. Like, one of them, it was like, oh, can you tell Ashley happy birthday? The guy you slept with has an STD and you're a dumb whore. And like, Teresa's just reading it and smiling. And she's like, happy birthday, Ashley. It's so funny. Like, if you haven't seen them, look them up. You will be on the floor freaking laughing. And like, people are like, Teresa doesn't care. Like, somebody figured out that she probably made like $500,000 like in a year doing those cameos. And I'm like, I would do the same damn thing then if I was in that position. Y'all want to pay me to make a personalized video to your worst enemies? I'll do it. No problem. Hit me up. I'm dead ass serious. Should I put that as an option on my website? That would be funny. Because y'all know I can drag a motherfucker too. I'll add in some extra shit on top of what you wanted me to say to them. I'll add in a couple, your mama never loved you and you're uglies. Who wears fur coats in the summer? Oh my God, remember when he got robbed in the subway and they took his fur coat and then later on, like, somebody posted that the robbers threw it in the street because it wasn't real? Dude, I was dying laughing at that one too. I was like, I'm sorry. I know it's not supposed to be funny, but it is funny on the other side. Carlos will pay me to say I love her. Yeah, no amount of money will ever make me say that. Sorry. I hope Kanye goes off on her in his most George Bush doesn't care about black people way. I mean, this is the thing that I found hilarious about this. You reposted the Jason Lee interview, which you can tell the way that Kanye said that shit was only because he was working with Jason and he said, I'm about to turn in this verse for your girl. And he's like, yeah, I always believed in her. Like, you could tell he didn't even mean that shit. And then Kanye gave her the worst verse of his entire career. And then didn't even show up to shoot the music video anyways. So that tells you alone that he was just saying that shit because Jason was right there. And that was the only reason why he did it, was a favor to Jason and off cheat. But when she's in there being like, I have receipts and trying to make it seem like she's gonna do something. This is the same man that has called out multiple presidents, Beyonce and Jay-Z, the Grammys, Like, if you think that Kanye is worried about you pulling some damn receipt on him, he has gone to war with crazier, bigger, more important people than you could ever be, Carlos. And on top of it, this man was willing to let the entire world think and call him anti-Semitic to get out of a damn contract. Kanye don't care, and he will tear your ass to shreds, Carlos, and I would love to see you crying on the floor over that one. And imagine too how much Tasha would drag her ass for that. That would give Tasha so much content if Kanye went off on Carlos. Like, this is how you know that Carlos is not at all very smart. Because she would have thought about, if I sit here and get in a pissing war with Kanye, not only is Kanye gonna win, but then it's just gonna add fuel to the fire for all the people that I constantly complain about criticizing me. Because y'all, do you know how many freaking Instagram reels and YouTube shorts and posts and Patreon I personally will make if that happens? I will be right alongside Tasha laughing my ass off and making a big old deal about it and monetizing it too. This is why my favorite people in the industry are Nicki and Kanye and Michael Jackson. Because we're all cool until you make us not be cool with you. And then we will be petty as fuck and we will tear your ass to shreds. Because it's like, you made me have to get all pissy. Well, that's it. Now I'm going to punish you extra that you made me have to get out of character today. She is so unraveling. But honestly, I guarantee you that she loves this because she loves to be in some beef and have her name trend, and she doesn't. And do you ever notice that she'll pick fights with everybody else, but she won't pick a fight directly with Nicki? Why is that? If you're Miss Dangerous and you're so tough, why did you have to fight with every single girl that was on the Queen's Mix instead of fighting with the girl who created the Queen's Mix, who is your real op and that you really have a problem with? Why were you attacking Akbar and JT and Malibu Mitch instead of Nicki, who's your real target that you supposedly have a problem with? Now she wants to mess with Ye. And you know it burns her ass up that everybody knows that Ye and Nicki have a good relationship. He's called her his sister many times throughout the years. He's talked about how Nicki, you know, killed that verse on New Body. You know, everybody's been dying for that song to come out. It leaked. So, of course, she had to go fight with Kanye because New Body leaked. And which, by the way, guys, I just want you guys to know this because I know people are saying that Carlos leaked all this stuff. Carlos did not leak the documentary. She did not leak New Body. The person that filmed the documentary, allegedly, cough, cough, I don't have no money, don't sue me, is also the person that, cough, cough, allegedly had a big old issue with Kanye behind the stem player. They're the people that, cough, cough, allegedly put that out, not Carlos. Carlos don't have access to Kanye's shit to be leaking anything. They already wanted to put that documentary out and Kanye wasn't going to let him, and it was a big old fight about who owned the intellectual property because they were the ones that filmed it, but Kanye hired them to film it, and it was like a big old back and forth thing. So, which I uploaded all parts of it in my Patreon too. If you guys want to see it, I had to chop it down to get it to upload. If you do come across it on YouTube, watch it immediately because Kim Kardashian's people are copyright claiming all of the versions of it and having it taken down because it obviously doesn't portray her in a good light. So she doesn't want that out there. And And why would Carlos want it out there that Kanye is calling her an industry plant anyways, when we all know that, like, she gets so freaking butthurt when people say that about her. Just like, why would she want New Body, the whole video, to be leaked? Because first of all, you know, the song wasn't about to come out, or the video wasn't about to ever come out anyways. The song's already been out there, leaked a long time ago, and it doesn't benefit her in any way, and it doesn't hurt Nicki or Kanye in any way either. So it's just like, you know, it doesn't do anything for anybody, good or bad. Well, actually, it's good, because I mean, it just makes more people interested in that song again. And by the way, Kanye didn't put that song out because that was when he went on his Jesus journey and said that he didn't want stuff like that out about his, because he wrote the song for Kim, since obviously she's got a fake body, and then he didn't want Kim to be over sexualized anymore as his wife, so that's why he didn't. Well, did that song didn't even go on any album, right? Hot Garbage. So our last people for the day is Karen the Mistress from Ohio and Sideshow Bob, because I was doing the monthly requests for my Patreons. And in that reading, it came up that we were looking at Lotto's flop career, and something came up about the relationship, and so we wanted to make sure that we took another look at this and see what cards have to say about them. So, well, I mean, I'm sure Kanye wishes that he had done, you know, a shoe with Nicki when he had the opportunity to do it. And you can't blame him for that, because, you know, think about the way that Kim is so narcissistic. She totally would have had a shit fit. And then the Kardashians probably would have been after Nicki if Kanye decided to do a shoe with Nicki before he did anything with Kim. Although I will say the interesting thing was in that conversation that Kanye had with Kim on the documentary when he was calling her, and it was the part where she told him, like, oh, like, you should take your meds, in response to him asking her to be supportive of him. She said something about, don't you want all the information? And he's like, don't I tell you that when it comes to doing business deals? He's like, and you always say, oh, I don't want to know about that stuff. And I'm the one that's pushing you and telling you, you have to know all the information to make up your mind about anything, whether it's your contracts or what the kids eat. And she's like, yeah, I just don't want to deal with that stuff. That's why I think licensing deals are probably better. And I was like, so that just disproved all of her little nobody wants to work, and I'm such a hard. Because how do you go from having that kind of attitude and saying, you know, I don't want to know anything about any business deals and contracts, to, oh, well, I'm a businesswoman and I know everything and everybody's lazy. Like, girl. Well, and reminder, guys, that we are only doing Nikki readings over on Patreon for now because the duds are watching. They are plotting and planning. We're not feeding them. We're not giving them any ideas. We're protecting Nikki. Barb's tier is $3 a month. We do twice monthly lives, and if I post anything that has any connection to Nikki, you guys always have access to that as well. But if you do want access to other content, please read what each tier includes, because a lot of times people join and then they get mad at, well, I didn't get the option to do this or that, and it's like, but you didn't join the tier for that, so that's why you didn't get it. It is crazy to think, though, that one air sign had to tell another air sign to get all the information before they made up their minds, because that's why we get blamed for being indecisive all the time. And it's not that we're indecisive, it's that we like to have all of the information to make a knowledgeable decision, and we like to know every side of anything before we say, okay, yeah, that person's right, that person's wrong, or whatever it is. And Carla's stalking everybody heavy. Yeah, she is. Exactly, Alexandra. When she says she's going to the studio, she means that she's gonna go lock herself in the bathroom and get on Instagram and Twitter and stalk Nikki and the Barbs. That's what she's doing. Yep, Hannah, I love that documentary, but I understand Kanye didn't want it out, but I totally thought about her in the bathroom too. Why is that the bathroom? Because there's always pictures that end up online of her in the bathroom or off cheat in the bathroom, and there's always like packs of cigarettes and lighters everywhere in the background. And so remember when she posted, like, when the elections was going on and she had like 5 cigarettes in her mouth? I imagine that she does that on a regular basis, has 5 cigarettes in her mouth in the bathroom, scrolling manically through Twitter looking for a Barb to argue with. Just in there with all her cigarettes. Which, by the way, for somebody that's always recovering from surgery, but smoking is like the worst thing that you can do, because it really affects your blood circulation and blood clotting abilities and stuff. So it's like I remember watching that show Botched, and some girl was supposed to get surgery to fix something, and the doctors told her, like, you have to quit smoking before we can do the surgery, and you have to quit smoking for, I think it was like a month or something. And then when she came in and she was trying to get her final consultation, like, the nurse said she smelled like smoke and they saw cigarettes in her purse, so they told her they couldn't do her surgery, and she was so mad. But they were like, that is way too much of a health risk, and this is, even though we're fixing something, it's still considered an elective procedure. And I'm just like, well, maybe that's why you're swollen for a year and a half after you do anything, because you're freaking smoking instead of doing the stuff that you're supposed to do so you can heal correctly. Plus, y'all got 2 little kids in that house and you're freaking smoking cigarettes inside. Like, if you're not going to stop doing it for yourself, go outside and, like, make sure your kids are okay at least. But y'all want to act like everybody's perfect, so whatever. Oh my God. Listen, do you guys notice, though, that for all the people that have been called plants, None of them have had the industry backing that Carlos has had. Like, so she wants to sit there and insinuate the Ice Spice is a plant. Well, how come Ice Spice isn't getting a shit ton of payola? How come nobody gave Ice Spice a Grammy already? Like, girl, you had the most support behind you and you didn't take advantage of it, and you're pissed because Ice Spice is taking advantage of all the opportunities and moving smart. That's what it really is about. Alrighty, you guys. Well, Lotto and her man. They're about to have a breakup. We got the Tower card moment coming, with the reason being the Ten of Cups, meaning he's choosing what he has at home, his family, over her. And, Spirit's saying, like, she was never all that serious to him anyways. For as much as people want to act like, oh, she's the real love of his life and he's only with the baby mama because of the green card. Well, he could have married Lotto for the green card. He didn't have to marry the baby mama for a green card. He could have gone to his handlers and said, go find somebody that's popping in the industry that's an American citizen that'll take, a few stacks to get married to me, and I'll give him a bunch of features or whatever. That also would have gave him a shit ton of publicity and press, because then everybody would have been like, oh my God, 21 Savage is married to Billie Eilish or whoever the hell, right? He's not faithful, but he's never going to be faithful to anybody. Like, first and foremost, as long as this man, who is horrendously unattractive, but little status and money will make anybody suddenly become fine in some people's eyes. As long as he can still get random girls to throw themselves at him, he's going to take the opportunity and do it regardless of who he's with. Even if this man was with Beyonce, he would cheat. Even if he was with Halle Berry, he would cheat. Like, he would cheat with anybody. Like, nobody's going to keep this man straight. But when it comes to who do I really truly want to be in a relationship with while I go run around and do my dirt, it's the wife. Like, he has a connection to her. She's not some nobody. They've been together. She gave him, kids for a reason. He chose her to be the person that he had his kids with for a reason. And a lot of men will do that. They'll pick the girl that they think, oh, I want to spend the rest of my life with her, but I want to go sow my wild oats instead. And then they put babies in them because it's like, well, that'll force you to have to sit down in the house and wait for me because we got kids. And women, for the most part, again, especially if you do love your child's father, would be less inclined to go out and just hook up with anybody and hope that that man is going to come home, right? So, and the thing is that Spirit's saying, like, she understands. I'm not taking questions right now, Hannah. I'll take them in a minute. But she understands, and they have an agreement of, like, don't embarrass me. Don't make it obvious. Don't embarrass me. And I'll look the other way, because it's like, okay, well, he's going to do it regardless, and I want to be with him, so I have to accept who he is. But at least let's put some stipulations on this. Now she has started to put her foot down because she doesn't like Lotto and she doesn't like that everybody's associating Lotto with him. Him and Lotto have already broken up twice recently over this. The only reason why he gave her any kind of a second chance is because he got worried that Clayco Karen is going to be a cop caller and report his ass to ICE. So, because we got the justice card here talking about him being worried about things being exposed when it comes to his situation and his legal problems. And him being worried that Lotto's showing up as this Queen of Swords. Like, I'm ready to get revenge. I'm pissed. Like, I didn't get what I wanted. I'm going to go, like, expose all your dirt. That's what he's worried about with her. And you know what the funny thing is that he views this situation as, I got trapped. I fucked up. I never should have been involved with her. She's got dirt on me. And now I felt like I've been obligated to still do certain things for her and to continue the relationship while I try to get my other shit taken care of. You heard he hired bodyguards for her. I'm starting to think he really got them to eavesdrop on her. Well, this is the funny thing that Spirit said, is that he's been trying to make sure that people around are feeling her out. Are you going to tell on him if y'all ain't together no more? Do we need to make you feel like that would be the worst thing that you could ever do? Like, well, you know, he can say some shit and let some shit out about you too, Lotto. Like, and he's in a way better position as far as his career goes than you are. So maybe you don't want to engage in this. Because it really is like preparing what kind of a battle do I need to have with this girl if shit goes left. This is a funny thing because they're really in this very precarious state right now. There's a reason why the baby mama's been posting him a lot and making sure that everybody knew that she was at that Drake concert and that they were, you know, at different events together, because she's sending messages to Lotto too. Because I do feel like she's in a place where she's like, if that bitch tries it with you, I'll put her in my damn place if I need to. Like, she's overstayed her welcome and it's time for her to get the hell on now. And trust me, Sideshow Bob lies to the wife and tells her, like, oh, it's just a little fling and this is more industry kind of bullshit and I'm not really with that girl like that and she just won't leave me alone now. Like, he tells her all kinds of shit. She just chooses to believe it because she's not going to lose her position and being taken care of. But Lotto's trying to do her little magic spells, but guess what? The wife is doing spells to make you go away too, girls. So y'all are just throwing shit at each other and seeing which one spell work works out and knocks the other one out of their spot. Exactly. Do you guys think that that was just a one-off situation when Lotto recorded Nikki? Or do you think that Lotto hasn't been recording a lot of people and a lot of shit to use it to her advantage? And if you listen to if you're on Patreon and you listen to the video that I did last night on her and her career, she is always looking for ways to manipulate and shenanigans and drama to start to get attention rather than trying to actually like put together a song that people like or find a way to be likable. But I wouldn't put it past this, but they're about to completely be done with each other, y'all. And on top of that, this is the thing where this is really going to backfire on her if she tries to do any of that to him. It's only going to make her look bad, because then people are going to be like, okay, so you're a mistress and a snitch. And on top of it, the whole reason why she's gotten a lot of the samples that she's gotten, the collaborations that she's gotten, and the opportunities that she's had is because of 21. Like, we all know RCA is not like a super like supportive label to begin with. So they're not going out of their way to like make shit happen for this girl. And the only artist on their label that they probably really are working hard for right now, as far as like the rap hip hop, you know, side of things, is Doja. He'll get people to turn on you real quick, girl. You'll never get another sample. You'll never get another collab. People will take 21's side in this, fans and otherwise. But this is the funny thing. I feel like he's going to give her a bag and pay her off to go away. Look, I paid for your apartment for the next 2 years, and there's a new car in the driveway, and I put $10,000 in your mom's account. Leave me the fuck alone. So, well, Chloe was there because she needed to promote her album. And because, you know, they were sending her on the media rounds, and they were trying to both promote Lotto's podcast as well as Chloe's career. It was management teams that put them together, and they already had that song together. What's Chloe gonna do? Sit down and be like, I don't like you and I think you're fake as fuck? Like, Nicki Minaj and Kanye West are probably like two of the only people that would ever do something like that in an interview. Especially Chloe. She's like such like a skinny cat and doesn't want like problems with anybody. So she's not gonna sit there and be like, I don't like you and I got forced to be here. Like, no. And I just feel like Chloe's one of those people that just is nice and likes everybody anyways, unless they really do something super egregious. And even at that, it's like, well, I'm not gonna hate you, I'm just not gonna associate with you anymore. But they need to stop with the damn spells. I know, that's what's funny, is like y'all are just fucking unleashing spells on one another. So let's see Lotto's perspective, and then I gotta start wrapping it up. We will be back the same time on Thursday, guys. This is the permanent times that we go on. I know. Well, sometimes, you know, look at like the whole situation with Justin Bieber and Scooter Braun. Justin Bieber signed a contract that Scooter Braun was still going to manage him until, what was it, 2025 or something like that. So that's why he wasn't a part of everybody suddenly dumping Scooter. And, you know, everybody said that like legal teams were trying to work on things quietly behind the scenes to come to, you know, some sort of agreement that worked for everybody to get out of that. So I think sometimes, unfortunately, because of contracts, people get stuck, you know. And if somebody doesn't want to let you out of that contract, then you're kind of stuck. I mean, there's plenty of people throughout history that have sat on, you know, sat on their ass for years to get out of a record contract because the label wouldn't let them out. So they just refused to put anything out. Or like a lot of people back in the day used to put out Christmas albums because it was like, oh, I owe my label one more or two more albums and I know I'm not going to re-sign with them. And I have all this good music, but I want them to profit off of it. So let's make a Christmas album and a greatest hits album and release those as the final projects on this contract. Like, they can't get away with it so much these days. The labels kind of started writing that into the contracts that it has to be an album, it has to be this long, it has to have this many songs in order, and it can't include special holiday editions, greatest hits, things like that don't count towards the contract requirements. Imagine Carlos trying to put out a greatest hits album and it's just a re-release of the first one. But they just add WAP and up onto it. That would be funny. I could see her ass trying to do some shit like that and be like, okay, you guys, I know you all just have been dying for me to put something out, so I put out a greatest hits album, and it's like, Carlos, this is just Invasion of Privacy Part 2 with WAP and up added onto it. Oh my God, I could see her trying to do something dumb like that after she dragged her fans along for 80 years waiting for that second album, only for her to just release the same one all over again. Not Barty Claus is coming to town and her doing a Christmas album. She's talking about how she's gonna twerk on Off Cheat under the tree. With the smash hit Mary Go F Yourself, right? Oh my God. Yeah, they can do that too. I mean, because the label itself gets to decide, are we going to count this as an LP, an album, or a mixtape? And, you know. Oh my God, wait. Fall 2020, fall, spring. She said the album is coming. Dude, first, okay, do y'all notice that like every 2 months, Carlos gives everybody a new date for this damn album? Because just this year alone, I've heard that it was supposed to drop in the summer, then it was supposed to drop next week for her birthday, then it was supposed to be at January 1st, and now it's spring, summer. I'm like, really? September, spring, summer, Sheree, come on. At this point, her and Sheree, if she drops the Christmas album, we know where that she got that idea from. Guys, it's a typo. Calm down. She said the BBL is coming. I mean, no, you guys know that she's going to put whopping up on that damn album on purpose to artificially inflate all of the numbers so that she gets a head start, because she knows that, number one, nobody's going to want to hear anything or like anything on that album because she has not put out anything that's been interesting or that people have wanted to listen to since then. And then she could be like, oh, look, we already have 200 millions in sales or whatever, just claiming the sales of those singles. So And y'all are gonna get 5-year-old singles on a damn album if she ever puts it out. So congratulations to you. Yeah, they'll go on some bullshit EBT version of the On the Run tour and nobody's gonna care. See, Juicy, I mean, that's why every time that anybody talks to her about when this damn album's coming, it's a whole entire different season. That's why I said at this point she sounds like Sheree. September, spring, summer. Like, okay, Carlos. Although knowing Carlos and her unintelligence, she probably thinks that September, spring, and summer are all months of the year and they come right after February. Carlos's mind, it goes January, February, September, spring, summer, Offsheet's birthday, my birthday, Christmas. That's how her brain works. Oh, thank you, Preston. Oh my God, really, Teddy? What group was that? Yep, her initial signing of her album, that 7 years that you can't, then it's the 7-year mark. If you haven't fulfilled the terms of the contract, it either needs to be re-signed or you have to be let go, comes up in February, you guys. Because you can't keep anybody in a contract longer than 7 years in California. It's like a special thing that they created just for the music industry, so they couldn't lock people in to lifetime contracts and basically bankrupt people and hold them hostage, because the industry used to do crazy things like that to somebody. So but let's see how Miss Frappuccino. Listen, I don't really know a whole lot of Kodak Black's music, but every time I see Young Miami, I just hear Carisha Brownlee and every time I see Lotto, I just think of him calling her Frappuccino and Frappe. Kodak's another one that's freaking hilarious, when he wants to be petty with people. So I'm just sure, he could probably really go in on some people, because isn't he Haitian? I was like, that's in their DNA. But it's hilarious. That's why I said that she should have dropped the freaking album when all the shutdowns happened. When they put WAP out, because that was the perfect excuse for her not to go on tour. If the album sales were lackluster, you can blame it on the pandemic. That whole time period, 2020, would have been the perfect time for her to drop anything, because it would have given her a million excuses if she didn't want to go on tour or shit flopped. I can't record any videos because everything's shut down, and I have a kid and I can't risk going outside and catching something and bringing it home to her and my elderly family members. I can't go on tour to support it because everything's shut down outside. She literally just blew it by not doing it then, and I'm sure that she was probably hoping that they were going to shut everything down again so that she could probably take advantage and try to do that now, but they're not going to, and it's too late anyways. Because at this point, people are just tired of her. And listen, she's not Lauryn Hill. She's not in the studio, creating a masterpiece that it's fine that you only ever gave us that one. And Lauryn Hill, on top of it, didn't want to be a part of the industry anymore. That's why we didn't get anything from her for a long time. And that's why she hardly ever shows up to stuff. Because she's not trying to be a part of the devil worshiping or get sacrificed. Carlos loves being in the Illuminati and being one of their puppets, so that's not an excuse for her. And she's not making anything that's some historical classic that people are still going to be so excited about in 20, 30 years. Like, we still will listen to Lauryn Hill's music. So, give it up, Delicious. You're done. Just go be an influencer. Go make a 2B reality show with Off Cheat. Like, do anything else. Music is not your thing, boo-boo. Well, exactly. Her label is not going to give her the big-ass budget. You do know that that's Bongo's song, Bozo's, whatever the hell it's called. Y'all know that she paid for the video. Atlantic did not. She just put herself a couple more $1 million in debt because she was really thinking that this was going to be the thing, and that if that blew up, then Atlantic would pay her back and give her the budget for this next album. And they were basically like, well, congratulations, you played yourself. Like, that's the other thing that's crazy too. Girl, you've been running around spending millions of dollars trying to prove points to everybody. You're $4 million in the hole in legal fees trying to go after Tasha for $4 million. Like, now you're just even. You keep pursuing her, you're going to be even more in the hole than she is to you. You paid $2 million for a video that nobody cared about, and I'm still trying to figure out what part of that cost $2 million. Because they could have done that shit on a Sears photo set, and somebody could have edited that shit in iMovie. It was not some groundbreaking, spectacular thing. Like, back in the day when people used to spend $1 million on a music video, like Bad Boy was one of the first labels that did something like that. It's because they literally were like jumping out of helicopters, filming in Antigua, flying in, magicians and monkeys and zoo animals and all kinds of crazy shit that you're like, yeah, I can see. Because you guys needed the zookeeper to tame the monkeys and hold on to them on set. And then he had to pay ladies to get painted in gold, and they flew them in from Arabia to do special belly dancing in the club scene. Like, this, it's like, what? $2 million where? How much did that rusty ass refrigerator that you were twerking on cost, Carlos? It's just like, oh my God. But then again, this is the moron that literally spent $4 million in legal fees trying to get somebody that don't got money to pay her $4 million. And she really thought that she was going to force Tasha to give her $4 million up front. Where the hell was Tasha going to get $4 million from? The bank is not going to give you a $4 million loan because you lost a lawsuit. Actually, you're the bank's worst nightmare at that point. So, that was like the craziest part about it was like, where did you think that Tasha was going to get the money? Were you just hoping that, like, after she lost the trial that she was going to hit the lottery and have hit the Powerball numbers, and that's how she was going to pay you back? She's just so unintelligent. She could have done the budget-friendly Y2K white background visuals. Yep. I mean, I'm telling you, she could have gone to the Sears photo studio. They have beach backgrounds that you can take your pictures in, and it looks like you were at the beach, you know, in your pictures, but really you were in the middle of the mall in Wisconsin. There was a bazillion other things that she could have done, but she wanted to waste her own money. I mean, you know, I'm sure, and this is the thing, maybe the grand total for the music video was $2 million. Obviously, they had some product placement and sponsors that lessens the cost, but she still paid the difference out of her pocket. This was not Atlantic paying for it, guys. So, finishing up the Lotto and 21 reading. So I was like, oh my God, we've been on here for 2.5 hours and I do have to go because I gotta go get my kid from school and leave in half an hour. And I gotta put all this stuff away, and I also have some emails to return. Quick reminder, if you want to make your own video requests or have access to any of our exclusive content, you can join us on patreon.com/psychicbellalove. That's also in the pinned comment at the top. That is where all of the requests happen. I don't take any of them on YouTube, and where all of our Nicki Minaj content is. Also, if you would like to book your own personal private reading until October 15th, you can use code Bella, all in caps, for 45% off at psychicbellalove.com. Or you can join Patreon, because they're the ones that are getting all the daily specials and the different things that I'm doing, because we're celebrating my birthday next Friday. So I'll be back on Thursday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. So, oh boy. Okay. I mean, when people say that something burns their ass to see that somebody else is happy, Karen really truly wants to believe that, you know, the whole family thing is just a facade, and it's like, oh, like she was some, you know, the wife was some crazy lady that just kept trying to trap him with kids over and over and didn't want to let go, and so he took advantage so that he could get his green card. And again, Karen, he could have married you to get his green card too. There is a reason why he chose her to be the one that he's married to, and why you are not, because it would have done a lot for both of your careers if y'all popped up married. Y'all could have branded yourselves together and gotten a bunch of attention and money. So he only ever saw you as a piece of ass that was available to him, and now he's tired of you completely, and she does not want to accept this. It's like, I want to live into Lululand and believe that this is my man and he's gonna stay my man. So, do you know what's funny? Don't be surprised if she doesn't suddenly pop up somewhere with some other guy and act like that's who her man has been this whole entire time. And it'll be some rando that nobody really knows. Like, oh, he owns some car dealership somewhere or something like that, where it's like he has to have, at least people have to think that he has the ability to make some money, because she's been running around claiming that her man pays all her bills and saying, oh, look it, my man bought me a car, my man bought me a necklace, which Spirit's saying half that damn shit that she was claiming that 21 was doing for her, that was her own shit. She bought herself a lot of that stuff. She pays her own rent. She just was out here lying and acting like she's being taken care of because it's not very city girl like. It's not real hot girl like to say that you paid your own bills and you had to buy your or sign your own lease on your car. And to him, it's like, well, I don't fucking care, you know, like, didn't come out of my pocket. I don't want anybody to know we're together anyways. So what do I care if you're going to lie and say that this imaginary boyfriend of yours was paying your bills? This is the other thing, too, that Spirit's saying. He has never told this girl that they are in a relationship. He has, you know, let's be honest, he's a guy, he's selfish, he's going to cheat. Guys will be manipulative. Same way, you know, that he's been telling the wife that she was just kind of nobody and all of that. He did enough with Lotto because, you know, even though guys will go around and give it to everybody else, they never want to think that the woman that they're with is with other men. So it's like, I dangled things enough and insinuated things enough and gave you a few things and did enough for you that you're sitting at home waiting on me if I decide to come through or not. You're not out there making yourself available to other men. But if you ever do try to hold it to me of, well, why were you doing XYZ thing? Well, bitch, I never said I was your man and you know I'm married. And then it all gets thrown back on her like she's crazy, right? You know the situation, how dare you? And like, that's what this has all really been like. And he just goes around lying to everybody so that he gets what he wants. But like I said, now he's in a place where he feels like he fucked himself over because he's worried about her little vindictive loudmouthed ass. So, because this is the thing that Spirit's saying. He thinks that she's impulsive and not very smart. And like, oh, you'll just go do things and you don't think it through and think about, well, is that really good for you in the long run? Like, you're gonna beef with Coi Leray. It's like, you know, does that really help you in the long run, though, to be like the mean girl of the industry? Get you attention for 5 minutes, but it's not good for the long run. Like, she doesn't think things through like that, so that's why he's scared that her being pissed that he don't want to be with her means she'll call ICE on his ass and not think about how that's gonna reflect really poorly back on her too, and probably do more damage for her in the long run. Because let's face it, it's not like 21 is from Venezuela, where it's like, if you got deported back there, you don't really have much of a chance of like living any sort of like good life there right now, given the political atmosphere, and you guys would end up struggling. And you're going into like a war zone, like if you got deported back to Ukraine or something. You're from the UK. You can go get your ass a nice penthouse apartment in the middle of London. Like, it's not like, oh my God, you had to live in America because that was your only chance at a good life. So, this is, you know, it's like if she did somehow get him deported, he could still go travel everywhere else. Like, maybe he can't come to the United States anymore. You can go to Canada, you can go to Mexico. If people really really wanted to see 21 Savage in concert, they'll go see you in Toronto. They'll go see you in Cancun or Mexico City. So you can still tour all over Europe. It's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's never fun to get deported, I'm sure, but you know, there's workarounds for things. It's not going to destroy his life or his career. Yes, Dario and I definitely have more more coming, and we did do some stuff. We've done quite a few videos in my Patreon too, and he's out of the country right now, but when he returns, we definitely have more coming. I think the next couple videos that we're gonna do are probably gonna be in Patreon as well, but Dario is one of my best friends, so he will definitely be back. But I'm glad that you guys enjoy him, and make sure you guys follow his channel and subscribe as well, because I know that he usually goes live on Thursdays. I'm not sure when he comes back and when he'll be back to doing lives though, but he will. So yeah, but Karen's delusional, and she's only going to be looking at how does she make a point, how does she spin the narrative in the situation. And like I said, we're gonna see her trot out some other dude and try to pretend like that guy has been her boyfriend the entire time to save face. Sorry, I'm just laughing because I'm like imagining like her boyfriend being like, her fake boyfriend. Like a Ford salesman. Oh, does he sell enough Explorers so that he can support your lifestyle? It's just like, I don't know, she's just so desperate. It's hilarious. I mean, listen, you gotta be, that's a poor girl, honestly. I kind of feel bad for her. She is so damn delusional because, first of all, you think that running around screaming, my man, my man, my man, about somebody else's husband isn't delusional. Then you think that you're really up here enough to compete with and compare yourself to people like Nicki Minaj, who's been in the industry for how long and has not only been in the industry for how long, but has really like established herself as a legend. And Lotto just thinks like, oh, well, because I was on some show when I was a kid, that means that I've put in the work and deserve to be in the same spaces. Bia was on some of those damn shows too, wasn't she? Like, I don't see Bia running around and acting like everybody needs to fucking bend over and kiss her damn ass, and that she also deserves like the main stage at, you know, places, and everybody should kiss her butt and give her all the awards and do whatever she wants. So it's just like, the girl is obviously really delusional. Maybe she needs to be in a conservatorship. Where's Britney's dad at? Because if you're this delusional, I don't trust you to be safe enough to make decisions in your best interest, and you might be a danger to yourself and others. How do we get a hold of Jamie Spears? Y'all imagine that Jamie Spears and Lou Taylor put Carlos and Lotto in conservatorships? Because obviously Carlos has a mental health issue too if she doesn't love herself enough that she wants to keep changing her face. Like, I just imagine them being like, oh my. Especially, I'm not laughing at Britney, but people said that Jamie Spears, like as soon as the conservatorship started, told Britney, you're not Britney Spears anymore. I'm Britney Spears now. And I decide what Britney Spears does. And so that's why I was like, I'm just imagining Jamie Spears being like, you are no longer Carlos. I am. I saw that, Alexandra. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye. So we know who. The person that got me restricted from commenting on Instagram. But guess what? All they can do is buffer shit and get me restricted on Instagram. Because I'm blessed and highly favored by my ancestors and God. So good luck. But anyways, y'all, I do have to go because like I said, I gotta get a couple things done before I have to run out and go get my kiddo. But and in the meantime, guys, remember, I love you, your ancestors love you, God loves you, and that's all that matters. And you deserve good things. Tell yourself that every day. I deserve a good life. Happiness is my birthright. I am placed here for a reason because God made me perfectly, and God didn't place me on earth to live a miserable existence, but to thrive. And empower yourself. Don't let the devil win. Satan tried to disempower all of us while God empowered us. So when we take our power back, we are spitting in Satan's face. So anyways, y'all, I love y'all so much. I really do. Thank you for being here with me. And thank you to everybody that does tune in afterwards. And thank you once again to my mods. And thank you to Lindsay for always providing all those links and doing our timestamps. You are so appreciated. Take your dry ass fajitas out of here. Oh my God. Now y'all are gonna make me want tacos and fajitas for dinner. But anyways, babes, I love y'all. See y'all in a couple more days. And in the meantime, be good, be safe, and be full of love and light.